I'm Alex Thomas, and this is B.A.R.S at Nexus Sound Studio. We're here today with Nutso The Beast. How you doing today?
Doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Good.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Appreciate it. So, first thing, where did the name come from?
Today, everybody asks me that too. It actually came from my cousin Chief. When we was younger, he started calling me that. An event happened. I won't go into detail, but an event happened, and they was like, "Man, you crazy! Like, we didn't think you was gonna do that for real." So the name kind of stuck from there.
It was dubbed Nutso The Beast from there, so I know you did something real crazy.
Yeah, it was wild.
He was out here wilding for sure.
It was wild.
You gotta be wilding to get that name.
Yeah, they influenced me kind of wrong ways sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. So, what was it like growing up? What was your childhood like? Give us a little insight on that.
You know what? I often bring up my childhood a lot because I had great upbringing. Like, my mom was very spiritual, my dad was very spiritual. My dad was a worldwide evangelist, so he traveled minister. So I really grew up with a great foundation, you know what I mean? But at the same time, you know, when you're young and you're a preacher's kid, you kind of feel left out of a lot of stuff. So, like, part of me, even though I respected my dad and all of them, and I respected that, I was always, like, drawn to the streets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they say, be careful what you wish for, because I kind of graduated that when I went to prison. Then I finally hit me like, oh, yeah, maybe they was right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You don't appreciate what they telling you until you grow up a little bit and realize, damn, they was right.
And some people some people, no matter how hard you try, they gotta learn by themselves. And I was kind of like one of them people, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you gotta make your own mistakes sometimes and learn from your mistakes.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know? Not always easy to listen to other people.
Right.
Especially when you're a kid.
And especially when you ain't got to experience nothing else, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like, we was kind of sheltered a little bit when we was younger, you know what I mean? So
did you kind of like rebel, you know, because they were so like strict and straightforward and, you know, Christian or, you know, religious?
I think part of that, part of it was that, and part of it was like, I hated school. So, and if I could find a reason to fight, like, and get away with it, then I would. You know what I mean? Like, I had 5 sisters growing up. Yeah. So normally when I got in trouble in school, I got in trouble for it. But if I was fighting over my sisters or something, I figured out real quick, if I say, oh, he hit my sister, so I had to beat him up. Then I wouldn't get in trouble. I'd be at home getting ice cream. Yeah. You know what I mean? So,
just the right excuse makes it all better.
Yeah. So,
I find you know, a lot of people that I know that came up in a real strict upbringing rebelled against it and kind of went, you know.
It doesn't work, man. You gotta give people your advice. And a lot of times, I think people don't look at kids as really being able to make their own choices. Yeah. And I try to change that with my own kids, you know what I mean? Yeah. Even though I'm strict with them, at the same time, I kind of really explain and make them make choices too, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because if you try to shelter somebody so much, they're gonna rebel and be worse than the people you're trying to shelter them from, you know what I mean?
Exactly. You gotta let kids make their own choice, you know?
Yeah. There's a reason
kids
people
are
talk
smarter.
About preacher kids. It definitely is a reason.
Yeah. Kids are smarter than we think, you know, letting them make their own decisions. You know, you can guide them, but trying to make all the decisions for them, I think, you know, could steer them in the wrong direction. You know, they push against it and, you know, it doesn't always turn out well. So how many kids do you have?
Let's talk about something else.
All right.
Nah, I got 10 kids.
Oh, shit.
But
nice.
You're supposed to play it off.
All right. I was surprised to hear that. Oh, shit. I wasn't expecting that. You know? Right. That's what's up, though. You got a nice family unit there.
Yeah, I do. And half of it, you know what I mean? A lot of it, I love all my kids, you know what I mean? When you do a lot of time, you come home, you be ready to go, you know what I mean? You be ready to go. So babies happened.
Yeah, I feel that. So we talked a little earlier, like about school and, you know, the learning process. And so tell us a little bit, like, you know, about what school was like for you. And
see, school for me was kind of weird. It was a weird stage in my life because, I was in special classes. So, a lot of my fights and stuff came because people would try to make fun of me because I was in slow classes, or and I have to crash out on them. But it took me going to prison to really realize that I just learned different. Because I'm more of a one-on-one learner.
Yeah.
But the way I learn is I pay attention to such details about what I'm learning about. I have to know. Most people can ask, why is this like this? Me, I have to ask, why is this like this to make this like this to make this like this?
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So when I learn, I have to break it all the way down. But once I learned how I learn, that's when I begin to be on the dean's list at college and all that stuff, graduated a couple colleges and all that. So it just took me really in that one-on-one setting more so learning that way than trying to learn with everybody else. You know what I mean?
That's how everybody has their own way of learning and the right process of,
Right. And it was funny because my parents, I used to get in trouble for my bad grades and stuff, and they probably really thought I wasn't trying at the time, but I really was.
Yeah.
I didn't learn like that. And you know what I mean? And back then, they didn't look into it as much as they look into it now, to where they'd be like, oh, this kid got this issue, or this kid got that issue. Back then, it was like, hey, you do your work or you get a whooping or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I feel that. That's, I'm the same way. You gotta know how to teach kids. Everybody learns in different ways. There's different ways to teach anything. Yeah, and, finding your way of learning is crucial, I think, to really,
yeah, it is. It is.
Learning anything. All right, so this is B.A.R.S. Get to pick your first bar here. They got questions on the bottom. Pick whichever one you want. Read the question. Give us your best answer.
Oh, boy. All right, let's try this one. All right. What is the weirdest thing you ever Googled? What was the result? I'm a weirdo as it is. I don't know. I Google everything, though. If it's not AI chat, it's Google for everything.
Yeah, I feel it.
What can I say was the weirdest thing? Oh, man. Is this counting Pornhub or not counting Pornhub?
Well, I mean, whatever's on your Google search.
I don't know. I'm a weird guy. I don't know. Probably, you know what? I don't really know. That's a good question. It's the weirdest thing I ever Googled. I don't feel like I've Googled no strange stuff, but I don't know.
I don't believe that. Are you a flat earther?
No, I'm not flat. Probably the weirdest thing I Googled, I don't know, when I first came home, I was trying to catch up with everything, so I was pretty much Googling everything was Google for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was so far, I love electronics, I love computers, I love technology. So when I came home after 9 years, I'm so far behind. I went on a Google and I was stuck in Google for a minute. trying to
catch up on the world.
Trying to catch up on the world. So it was it's too many weird things to even name on that one. Let me put this over here.
So, you were locked up for 9 years?
Yeah, I did 9 years, and then I came home. I was home for 5 years, and then I went back in for 3 years.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So, what was, can you tell us a little bit about that experience, how that changed you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, a lot of people don't like to talk about what they was locked up for, but I used to rob gambling houses. It's just what I did, you know what I mean? So even when they caught me on my first case, they caught me with $40,000, you know what I mean? My co-defendant kind of flipped and stuff went south from there, you know what I mean? But when I was inside though, I was watching something the other day and they asked the lady if you could tell your younger self something from when you was young, give yourself the best advice, what would you say to yourself? And I thought about that question for a minute, and I said, I would say to myself, live my experiences, and I wouldn't even tell myself nothing I was gonna go through. I would go through the same exact stuff. Even as much as it had effects on my life in certain ways, I would really put myself through the same stuff because I would wanna know everything and feel everything that I know now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when I got locked up, man, that taught me more lessons than anything in life. Even though I hated the experience, there's a lot of stuff I hated about it, but the wisdom I gained for it and really learning myself, because most of the times when you out here, like you distracted, you constantly trying to put your efforts into other people, trying to do, you don't really get to know yourself, you know what I mean?
Right.
I feel like don't nobody know themselves like I know myself. It's on a different level, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't have whole cliques I hung out with, I was just me. You know what I mean? It's always been that.
Yeah, everything you go through makes you who you are, and you wouldn't be the same person if you didn't go through the experiences.
No, you would. And I truly believe I would. I feel like I had to go through that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people that came out a lot better than they went in. You know, it's
for sure.
You know,
for sure.
There's you know, it's obviously not a good thing, but you know, there's a lot of benefits that come from
it's
that
a difference
time
between
if you do it right.
It's a difference between doing time and the time doing you too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know people that went in there, and there's no in between. You either go in there and you get better, or you go in there and you get worse. You're not going to be the same no matter what.
I've met both for sure.
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
not going to
I
be the
know.
same no matter what. So,
I know both.
If you decide to take advantage of it, then you learn a lot. You know what I mean? If not, you learn a lot in the opposite direction. Either way, you're learning something.
Right. And on that, you know, we were talking about you learned 3 languages while.
Yeah, man, it was a lot. I actually went to, a lot of people don't know, I went to a Bible college. I actually graduated Grace Ministries Bible College. I was just, at that time, I was just on studying, you know what I mean? And I wanted to really find out if God was real for myself, because I had heard all my life about what God was and but I realized I didn't really know nothing for myself, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I had to kind of establish my own relationship. And part of that, the Bible was originally written in Hebrew and Greek, so that's what I wanted to learn. That's how I started learning that. And Spanish was just because I learned that because I just had so many Spanish people around me constantly talking, and I wanted to know what they was talking about.
Right, yeah.
Like, you ain't gonna get me today.
Yeah, for
I
real.
need to know. So, yeah.
So you know.
But that was my, okay.
So you know Hebrew, Greek, and Spanish, and English.
I read Hebrew and Greek better than I actually know it and know it. But Spanish, I'm pretty fluent on Spanish.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you learn those in prison?
Yeah, I learned all those locked up. It was like once I realized, you know, because one thing about it is people think that words, this is why I love music so much, is because words are very powerful and words really do have life. You know what I mean? And you can really even shape a person. Like when I was in school and stuff, I would actually have teachers telling me I was stupid. You know what I mean? So all my life I thought I was stupid and stuff. And like, it took me going to prison and getting a teacher that really worked with me and learned how I learned to start helping me to realize like, wow, you're smart. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And once I started believing I was smart, it was like, I realized I could learn anything I wanted to learn now. Right. You know what I mean? I recently just bought a motorcycle. Never rode a motorcycle a day in my life. I went on YouTube and I've been riding ever since.
You can learn anything on YouTube now.
I bought it off the guy and I just YouTubed it and I've been riding ever since. And you know what I mean? So it's all about how you learn.
Yeah.
It really is. Once I realized I could learn though, I realized I could learn anything.
And that confidence though too, like someone telling you like, you know, you can do this and, you know, giving you a positive influence than some teacher being like, you're stupid.
Right.
You know.
And it's just like, it wasn't even just the teacher, but it'd be the combination of things people say that they don't realize they saying that they don't really know what you're going through. Like, for example, I'd be in school, teacher would be like, man, he's stupid, sit in the hall. Then I go home and I do something goofy and they'd be like, boy, quit being stupid. You know what I mean? So constantly, I was hearing that word stupid and it's like, damn, I must be
You start
dumb,
to believe it yourself.
Yeah, you start to believe it, you know what I mean? So it took a lot. So in school and stuff, I would crash out. I was a class clown and all that just so I wouldn't have to be asked questions and stuff like that, you know what I mean?
Right. So while you were in prison, you were doing music previous to, or did you start? Right?
No, I was doing music previous to. For some reason, man, music's always been like my journal. That's why a lot of my songs are so deep. Like, if you really want to know who I am, all you got to do is go listen to my songs. You'll know everything about me by the time you finish an album, you know what I mean? Because that really has always been my journal. I remember my first song I wrote when I was 6 years old. I still remember it. You know what I mean? It's like, music, I've never been a person that really talked to a lot of people. I've just always kind of talked to myself through music. You know what I mean? And that's the way I kind of open my shell, you know what I mean? for most part, I really write for myself, to be honest, just because it's more therapeutic.
Right.
When I don't write, that's when I get to the point to where I be losing it. You know what I mean? It's almost like I have to
Need
do
that.
it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just how I've been. Music's always been with me. So imagine in prison, I was writing 5 songs a day.
Nice.
For all them years. You know what I mean? So I got notebooks and notebooks and notebooks and notebooks.
Nothing else to do but focus on that.
Nothing else to do but write and then go to school and learn and write some more.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So, and you were recording while you were in prison, right?
I was recording. I was recording a lot. And you know what? And you know, some people I feel like they just meant to do certain things. And music was that way for me because when I first got locked up, people pay a lot of money to use the studios in the joint. It's like twice as much money as it is out here because so many people and everybody want access to it. So it's like, in order to get a slot in prison, in a prison studio, you gotta really have connections or be somebody. But when I first went to prison, a guy pulled to me to the side. He said, I seen you write, and then I heard some of the stuff you were saying. He said, I'll give you a slot if you do Christian music and do music without cussing. So when we have events for families and stuff, you can perform at the events and stuff. And I'll let you have a slot for free. And I had a slot my whole bit for prison, you know what I mean? I was one of the people that was charging other people to come into the studio and make their music. I was making beats and selling beats. But from the first day I got there, didn't know this guy at all. You know what I mean? His name was Max. I didn't know him at all. He just came up to me like, yo. At first I'm like, this is kind of weird, you know what I mean? Why me out of everybody? But, you know what I mean? Things happen for a reason. You know
Saw something in you.
Yeah.
That's dope. You were making beats too?
Yeah, I bought me a Triton when I was locked up. So, you know.
You had a Triton in prison?
I did.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah, I paid a lot of money for that Triton.
I bet.
Yeah. So people were like, so I was making beats and everything in there. And it was top of the line. Yeah, I was selling my beats and everything in there. That's how I was making a lot of my money in prison was through music.
That's dope.
Yeah.
What prison were you at?
I was in, which time? I was in Trumbull for a minute. I probably was in Trumbull for like 6 years. But then I got caught something in the visiting room, something. And they upped my level to a level 5 prison. And so I had to go to Toledo. They shipped me out to Toledo prison, which was a whole different world from Trumbull prison, Ohio prison. It was a whole different experience, but yeah.
Was there any recording there?
No, there's no recording there. There is no recording there.
You ain't doing nothing there.
There was no recording there. But it was also a higher security prison. You really couldn't do much there at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been in like 5 different prisons, for real.
So, and being gone for so long, you told me that your mom passed away while you were in prison, and that had to be extremely hard.
Yeah, that was very hard. It's me and my mom, and I talk about that a lot in my songs. And I know some people probably like, damn, you should let this go by now. But me and my mom was like super close, you know what I mean? I feel like I was really lost. And I felt like she was so godly that I just didn't understand at the time. Like, you know what I mean? Out of all the messed up people, you know what I mean? Why would such a godly person die like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
She had diabetes, and at St. Joe's Hospital, they gave her the wrong medicine, and that's what killed her, you know what I mean? So it's like, it was kind of unexpected at the same time, you know?
Yeah.
It was, we knew she was sick, but it wasn't, nobody was expecting that, you know what I mean?
That's hard.
Yeah, and her and my dad was together for 30-something years, and you know what I mean? So we had a close family, you know what I mean? And it's like, almost like since she died, a lot of it ain't been the same for real, to be honest.
Were you able to go to the funeral or anything?
No, I think that was probably the hardest part about it is the funeral. I was in Trumbull at that time, and the funeral was like a half hour away. And it was a warden's decision whether to let you go or not, and he chose not to let me go.
Damn.
And at that time, that warden at that particular time was very racist, for real. Because he was letting all the white guys go to the funerals, but he wasn't letting he was denying all the black guys to go to the funerals. So it was like, at that time, that made me kind of angry and start to crash out a little bit for a little period of time in there.
I'm sure that didn't
But yeah,
help the situation at all.
yeah. So he refused me to go to the funeral, so I never got to go. Matter of fact, I think last year was the first time I could actually bring myself to even go to her grave. But yeah, that was a hard time in my life for sure.
I'm sure, yeah, and you know, that had to be extremely hard. But I'm sure you're,
Refill?
you know, yeah, right, stronger person from it now. You know, it's
Yeah.
not an easy thing to talk about. I'm sure. So
Right.
appreciate you sharing. And
Oh yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
So on a more positive note, you
But
get to
let me
choose
say
your
this
next
too.
one.
Let me say this
Yeah.
too, just to clear that up. You know, you got to really think before you make your decisions in life too, because, you know what I mean, had I known my mom was gonna die, I promise you I wouldn't have did the stuff I did. You know what I mean? But you just never know. You know, when you may think you get in so many years, but you got a life sentence. That's a life sentence for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nothing's ever gonna be the same.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was even weird when I came home because it was like, dang, it's like not the same. You know what I mean? That's never gonna be the same again. So don't ever think like I'm just gonna go through this time and come home. Like you never know what's gonna happen in that short period of time, man.
Yeah.
Or that long period of time. Like time is not bound by anything or anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just enjoy your family, enjoy your people while you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, a lot can change in a short period of time. When you're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
9 years,
Yeah.
12 years, like there's a lot that can happen and change in that time. And
Oh yeah.
you know,
And a lot did, for real.
yeah,
And it's crazy because I felt like even coming home now, I'm so different in music, and I feel like I've always been in my own world. And I thought I would come home and adjust back to life, you know what I mean? But really, I kind of just stayed in my own world even now, you know what I mean? Like my music is different. I do rock and rap, you know what I mean? Like a lot of people like, man, you different, you know what I mean? But it's because I never contorted to nobody else's world. I've always been in my own world. Because when I was locked up, I feel like that's the period of life. I spent all my 20s, my 30s. That's the period of life where people make connections with people. So I came home, everybody already had their cliques. Everybody already had their exes they've been with for 2 or 3 years.
Right.
So anytime I come into a relationship, I'm coming to a relationship with somebody who was already dating somebody for 20 years. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
you don't really, you don't even compete with other people, but you compete with people's relationships. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's like, everybody got that established thing and you just kind of like, floating wherever you go, you know what I mean? That's why I've always kind of been a loner, so I'm used to it, you know what I mean? But I never really fit in nowhere, and I thought I was gonna come home and kind of fit back in, and still don't fit in. But that's how it's supposed to be for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my walk, you know what I mean?
Makes you, you know, you're an individual person, and you know, makes you different.
Yeah, and it make me not care what people think either. You know what I mean?
That's a good thing, you know.
I just made a freaking techno song. I knew I didn't care.
He's like, I really give no fucks. I'm going techno on
Yeah, I
him.
made a techno song. I'm like, I must not care about nobody's opinion.
How old were you when you went to prison?
I was 21 when I caught my case, 23 when I went away. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty early, you know.
Yeah, so a lot of my early years, and you know what? A lot of people got markers they can go to in life, and sometimes I do get kind of sad because a lot of my pivotal moments happened in prison where people didn't see. You know what I mean? When I was on the dean's list, you know what I mean, getting my cabin, my stuff, and
that's
nobody, you know what I mean, nobody's
hard.
there to see it. When I would win sports events, and it was like, it would meant the world to us as inmates, you know what I mean? Like, we just won a championship.
Yeah.
Outside,
And nobody,
like,
you can't share it with nobody.
Nobody cares. You know what I mean? So
That's crazy.
a lot of my pivotal moments happened when I was locked up, but one of the best moments to me in my life is when we had a Black History Month contest, a music contest, and it was at a point to where I was really thinking about like, you know what, when I get out, I'm gonna be this age, maybe I should just let this go now, you know what I mean? Just not do music. I'm gonna always do music, but maybe not share it as much or maybe not invest in it the way I have, you know what I mean?
Right.
I was really on the fence about it, but they had a Black History Month contest, and when they had the contest, I ended up winning the whole thing.
Nice.
But there was so many talented people, singers and things, and then like I lightweight couldn't believe it, and that
That's
point
dope.
was the point was like, if I could win it here, I feel like I got something. You know what I mean? Because these people got cliques, these people got friends, these people got homies, these people got this.
Yeah.
And here I am just by myself doing music, and I ended up winning the whole thing. And it was like, that influenced me to keep going. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons I ain't never quit, for real.
That's dope. See, it's, the what you take from it, and, it sounds like, although it was, not the best thing to happen in life, but, you took the positive from it and, gained a lot from your time, from education to, confidence to, the music, so I feel like you came out a lot better person and, gained a lot from the experience in the long run,
Definitely.
Oh,
Definitely.
that's dope. All right, so you get to pick your second bar here.
Oh boy. Oh man. Let's try this one. Just looking at me. Okay. What is something you would hate to find out about yourself after you die? Jeez. Who writes these questions? You're a sick individual. Okay.
Make you think a little bit,
Let me read this one more time. Let me see.
Yeah.
What is something you would hate to find out about yourself after you die? I would hate to find out that I never positively influenced nobody. I feel like I would hate to find out, like, if I'm up in heaven looking down, like, and God say, well, I would show you somebody you helped, but nobody's here. You know what I mean? That's the type of thing I would hate. I would hope, like, at the end of the day, we all got a legacy. And it's just some people, their legacy ain't much. To me, part of my legacy is my music, you know what I mean? My songs and stuff gonna be around long after I'm gone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember when I wrote a song called Dear Mr. Heroin, and the Walk for Heroin, people asked me to do it downtown Warren at the event or something like that. And I remember seeing people was crying and people was like really affected by the song. And it was like this really, it gave me another viewpoint of why I even share my music and stuff, you know what I mean? Because, sometimes you do rap and you just talk your shit.
Yeah.
But for the most part, with me as an artist, I really try to put my life experiences and what I've been through on the track, you know what I mean? And you'd be surprised at how many people would say it helps. So I think the worst feeling in the world would be like, oh, you thought you was helping people, but you really helped nobody. You know what I mean? After I died, that would be like hell to me.
That's a great answer, because that's one of the beautiful things about music is, there's a lot of like fun party music, and it's just, about having fun and that good feeling and turning up or whatever, but like, music changes people's lives. Like,
and it's one of the reasons I never want to be, the worst thing that can happen to me is I can let myself be put in a box. I refuse to do that because I can write some hard hood trap music all day long.
Yeah.
I can write all that stuff all day long. But I purposely branch out and do my rock stuff and my other genres because I listen to everything. Like, people, I've never been in a box. Like, you look at me like, who's your favorite artist? And I guarantee if I ask you who my favorite artist is, none of y'all would guess that it's Chris Stapleton. You know what I mean?
No, I definitely wouldn't have guessed that.
Nobody would guess because he just sings with so much soul, man. And he means everything he says, and it's just like the way it comes across, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I listen to a wide variety of music. Like, it's just and one of my least favorite music, even though I love it, don't get me wrong, I love all form of music, but what I listen to the least is hip hop.
Right.
And it's only because I do so much writing. When I'm writing, I don't like to hear other people because I sound like them on accident.
Right.
Not even on purpose. Like, if I'm listening to you constantly, I'm going to start sounding like you on accident.
Subconscious. You don't even realize some shit you heard a couple weeks ago.
I said something in my songs and had to go back and erase it because I'm like, oh, damn, bro said this line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's
I feel that.
So when I'm in a writing phase and I'm really in my zone, if I'm working on an album, I will not listen to anybody else like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I might check out somebody's song if they send it to me like, hey, tell me what you think of this, you know what I mean? that's different. You know what I mean? But as far as constantly sitting listening to it, I like listening to deep stuff. I like songs that have a lot of soul, a lot of meaning.
You don't realize like what you're listening to is like people that listen to nothing but one artist, they're probably going to sound like that artist when they make music, because that's like their only influence. When you're listening to all these different genres of music and, you know, you're able to blend genres and pull pieces, you know, and sound different than anybody else, because you're making your own blend of these different things, as opposed to just listening to one type of music or one artist that you're going to end up sounding like this artist, because that's, you know, your only influence.
To me personally, I feel like there's a bunch of good musicians, there's a bunch of good rappers, there's a bunch of good people that do rock music, but there's also, everybody can't call themselves an artist. Because I feel like an artist is somebody who really lays it all out on the track. You know what I mean?
Right.
You ain't doing it just for club music, you ain't doing it for this. I can really listen to your music and feel that experience of what you went through. Like I was right there and it was me going through it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I know some people, I've listened to their whole albums and they sound great. I mean, for rhythm, rhyming, everything else. But at the end of the day, I just listened to your whole album. I can't tell you nothing about yourself.
Right.
I know you like to sell drugs and I know you like to get money.
Yeah.
I know nothing else about you. What have you been through? Who are you? You know what I mean? Yeah. And I feel like if somebody listened to my album and they was not able to tell me nothing about myself or nothing I've been through, none of my real experiences, I would be devastated. Like I would feel like I didn't really do my job as an artist. I would feel like I was just another, you know what I mean, somebody making music. I wouldn't feel like an artist on that level.
Yeah, and that's the music I really appreciate, is when you can, you know, you can feel what somebody was going through when they wrote that song. Or you know who this person is, like on a deeper level now, just by listening to this song, because they're really putting their emotions into it. When it brings an emotion out in you other than just like, you know, turn it up, have fun, so you know what I mean? Like,
it's so funny because when I first came home, I got with B.A.R.S, my brother and them, and they was making all turn-up songs, so it was like I was in such a state of deep music that I had to learn how to make the turn-up songs, like the songs like 22 that I just did. Like I had to learn how to make those type of songs because I would go do shows and my stuff was so deep, like it sucked the air out of the room once I did the performance, and they'd be like,
everybody just in their mind,
everybody
like,
in their mind, like damn, like bro, we trying to have a turn up vibe. You just talking about how your mom died and this. Right. We trying to keep the level up, you know what I mean? So I had to, where most people got to learn how to do serious music, I had to learn the opposite way around and go from serious to party music and turn up and be able to do that. But I had to learn how to do that, and them guys helped me with that a lot. Because I would listen to their stuff and they'd be like, man, that's a really good song, make you want to dance, you know what I mean? Yeah. I had used to be making stuff that just make you want to be stuck in your mind, like on that level.
And that's a good point, is, you know, the show experience and like, you know, what you typically want to perform. I mean, it all depends on like, you know, the crowd and, you know, what the show is. But like in general, when you know, go into a hip hop show, most people are going to turn up and have a good time.
Yeah,
like,
they are,
definitely. They're not ready to hear some deep shit about your life and, you know, what you've been going through. Yeah. Although, like, it's like, you know, they go through the same shit, but at that time, when they're going out and drinking, they don't want to think about that. They want to go out and have a good time. So it's like the songs that you like really want to like put out and like get out to the people, that's like your real like heart and soul. Is you can't, you know, in a lot of cases, you don't want to perform those songs because that's not what they're going to click with at that time. But, you know, putting those songs out, like having those songs that are turn up songs and where they really click with you, you know, when they're in that mood of having fun, and, you know, and then they go to your Apple Music or Spotify or whatever, and they listen to your other shit, and, you know,
that's how you want
and then they connect with you on a deeper level when they're, you know, in that mindset of, you know, real life. You know what I'm saying?
Like, for sure.
So, you know, it's that balance of having, you know, different styles of songs to
Yeah.
get the people in when they're in that mindset, and then get them to really
It's like
listen to the things.
ride.
Yeah, right.
You gotta really, it's like a roller coaster ride, man. You gotta have your ups, you gotta have your downs, you gotta have your points you want to get off, points you want to get on. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's life. You know, I mean, like. Just like them going out to the club and, you know, having a good time, and then, you know, the next day is back to real life. It's like, for an artist, it's the same way. It's like, you got to have those songs where it's like, you play for the club, going out and, you know, performing, and then it's like, you got those real life songs where you going through it, like experiencing real life shit. So, like, how much you think being in prison for so long influenced your music and what you want to put out there? Like,
you know what? I feel like it influenced me a lot because you realize that it's a whole group of people that everybody forgot about. You know what I mean? That's what I kind of feel like, that a lot of people that's locked up don't really have a voice no more. Like, they don't have that voice that where somebody can really understand what they're going through at that time they're going through it. So if you get an opportunity to where you've been through that and you experience and you can articulate that, then it really gives you another depth and a whole nother voice for them people. You know what I mean?
all right.
So it's like, because a lot of people don't experience, like, I got some deep songs about some different stuff, but it's also two different worlds, you know what I mean? Because I realized a lot of times I had to really kind of self-correct in a lot of ways when I came home, because that's all I was talking about was you know what I mean? Because I was kind of like stuck.
Yeah.
And one thing about being locked up, man, it's not as easy to adjust as everybody think it is.
Yeah, nah.
It really takes time to get back to normal life. It really does.
Yeah.
If you ever go back, because they don't make it easy. Because one, once you get a felony in Ohio, especially, you come home, you can't get public housing. That's hard right there, because number one, you got a felony. Most people don't want you to live with them as it is. You know what I mean? If you can't get public housing, who need more help than somebody coming home trying to get their life back on track? So you can't get public housing. You can't get a lot of assistance you can't get just because you got a felony right away. Matter of fact, for instance, I went to YSU all them years locked up. I came home, went to go to YSU. Guess what they told me? You can't come here because you got a felony. That's what they told me.
But you can go while you're
in school for years. I said, I've been going to school for years. I was on the dean's list. They're like, well, you're free now. You can't come here. I'm like, oh, so y'all take the money while I'm locked up.
Right.
Take everybody's money for us to go to college while we're locked up. Then we get home and we can't come here because we got a felony. So I had to go before a board. And eventually they let me into school, but I had to go before a board. They had to ask me why should they let me in their school and all that stuff. It was like a whole nother trial. And by the time it finished, I was so exhausted, I just took the money and left. I was so exhausted from the whole process.
Yeah.
I didn't even finish. I just, whatever. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. You know, the prison system is really supposed to be about rehabilitation and getting you back on track, and you know, and then they let you out and you want to go to school and do right. You want, you know,
you got the
get a
school
house.
telling you can't come here.
Yeah.
The housing telling you can't get
That's
assistance
crazy.
from the government. They say once you do your time, you do your crime, do your time, and you die.
Yeah.
That's not the case whatsoever.
Right.
That felony is going to affect you the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Especially in Ohio. I don't know
Yeah.
how it is everywhere else, but
Every state
Ohio, you
different,
can't
but
get public assistance. You can't. There's so many stuff. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff you can do. I don't want to seem like it's impossible to live, but I mean, they definitely make it difficult. I feel like they almost set you up to try to make you want to do something to come back. Because what is the guy supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, for instance, in my case, when I was locked up the whole 9 years, they're supposed to stop your child support. They never stopped my child support. So they ran it wild like I had a job for 9 years.
And
so
you come out owing a ton of money.
I didn't owe nothing before I went away. I came home owing a ton of money.
Wow,
you know what I mean? So now,
crazy.
even when I get a regular job, they're taking most of my check, leaving me about $50. I'm getting $50 to my name. I can't get public housing. I can't go stay in none of these things. So, you know what I mean? They make it difficult. They really do. You know what I mean? It's not an easy process. So I'm only saying that just to say getting adjusted is not as easy as everybody think it is.
No,
it really takes work. You know what I mean? When
Yeah,
I first
I've
came
seen
home
that.
off this last number, I was staying in hotels. Luckily, I had a good job and they was helping me out and stuff like that, staying in hotels. But you know, I couldn't get no public housing or nothing like that. So it's like I had to get a house and I had to get money quick to do it.
And even finding a job is not easy when you have a felony. You know, you gotta check that box. And, you know, it's really crazy. You know,
it's a crazy road back, man. You gotta really be, but you gotta preset your mindset before you even come home.
Yeah, you gotta be really ready to. You gotta grind hard.
Yourself.
You gotta grind twice as hard, at least as everybody else, just to get back on track after you've been down for so many years.
Yeah. So kids out there, it ain't worth it. Don't do it.
Yeah. Wow. All right, so got one more bar here.
Okay.
Take your pick.
Let me see. Let's go for this last one here. How does Alex's hair stay so neat? I
hope it doesn't really say that.
All right, let me see. You can become invisible for 24 hours. I'm the wrong person. Let me stop it there. I'm the wrong person because if I'm invisible for 20 hours, we got a problem. I'm going back to jail. All right, you can become invisible for 24 hours. Where are you going and what are you doing? Oh my gosh. Nah. This is like a prison conversation type of power. If I could become invisible for 24 hours, sheesh, I don't know it's too much to do. It is too much to do. I don't know, but depends on what year it was, you know what I mean? I'll probably kind of,
Pick your year, whatever year you want.
I'll probably, me, I don't know. I'm kind of thinking from a money angle. I'd probably go invisible, go to a Diddy party with a camera, record everybody in blackmail them. Record everybody in blackmail them.
Right, you get millions out of that because you know they paying big money for that footage.
Yeah, go to a Diddy party invisible.
That's
blackmail.
It's a sensitive subject right now, but it's a good answer because you're gonna make them a lot of money off of that for real. Like,
yeah.
You know.
So, honestly, 24 hours, man, that'd be a tough one. 24 hours, I don't know what I would do for real. I don't even know if I would want that power. I don't know if certain people don't have powers for a reason. I'm one of them. Don't
give me no powers. I'm gonna abuse the shit out of them.
I know too much. No, heck no.
Oh yeah.
I don't even want it. I say, God, can you pick something else?
certain things,
I am not
don't
responsible.
place this responsibility on me.
Right. Yeah, that one ain't for me.
I feel that. So, we talked earlier, about the different genres of music that you're creating now. Yeah. You've kind of dubbed your main style, I guess, at least, rap rockology.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about that and how that experience started and where you're trying to go with it?
You know what? Rap rockology, I feel like, I just feel like it's just the best of both worlds when it comes to music. Because if you think about it, like, who turns up like a rock crowd, you know what I mean? And who vibes like a hip hop crowd? So when you take the two and you kind of put them together and you can actually blend them to where it's just like, it's magic, man. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like it's the best of both worlds. Like, no one genre can beat the other one by itself. Because I feel like they both really is brothers, you know what I mean? They brothers. Rock and hip hop is for real, they brothers.
Yeah.
It's different, more instruments in rock. That's really the only difference, you know what I mean? So, and rock being honestly my favorite form of music, it's just I always grew up on, I always rather listen to Linkin Park and listen to Korn and System of a Down, stuff like that. That's just, I don't know, it's just something hype about it, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I remember when I first got a piece I think I was playing football for Harding at the time, a long time ago. I didn't play long, but they would constantly be playing rock in there, you know what I mean? And that kind of really like, that's what everybody used for motivation. It was just turn everybody up on a different level.
Right.
So I seen the effect that it had back then on being able to turn people up and get them in their feelings and their emotions out.
Exactly.
And it was like, man, you know what I mean? But at the same time, nothing really catches you and has that style of hip hop. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn, when you do them both together, it's like, if you can really ride a rock beat the right way with a hip hop
Get that perfect
style,
blend.
yeah, it's a perfect blend. And so I just started calling it rap rockology, but for real, it's been around, you know what I mean? Like, I would consider like some of the stuff Limp Bizkit was doing back in the day.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like rap rock, you know what I mean? Korn, the same way.
Yeah, and those are like, you know, I feel like that's like definitely all those songs are a place in history that will live for a long time. You know, just like classical music and you know the major artists of the eras is like those will be classics of you know
even
certain
Linkin Park and Linkin Park and all them, they rapping for real. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people don't look at it that way because they have so many other instruments in them, but really they blend in the two perfectly. You know what I mean? That's my favorite style of music is when they get to doing that. So so I'm like, rap rockology.
Yeah, and that's like you know, there's, you know, we say they're brothers in a sense. It's like it's essentially, I feel like both styles of music are really like, in a sense, like have that rebellious, you know, against you know, authority or you know, what is proper or politically correct. It's, you know, that you know,
and it's
freedom of saying and feeling and doing what you want, you know, and that connects with a lot of people. And that energy behind it, you know, whether it's a hip hop beat or you know, a rock song. It's like that energy that it brings is, you know, connects with people.
Definitely.
So you did, you know, you've done several videos with us. Keith Kelly has directed and shot.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. Keith. Shout out Keith right there.
And he also engineers a lot of your music.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
Keith, I like working with Keith because I feel like for two reasons, you know what I mean? First of all, I appreciate Nexus. Like I was telling you before, I remember a long time ago when we recorded Fire Inside back in the day, a long time ago. That was one of the first songs I did when I came home was Fire Inside. And I kind of worked with you guys ever since, you know what I mean? And I feel like in a lot of sense, in a lot of business sense, people move around so much that like loyalty is dead in a lot of ways. But when you get somebody that you feel like got your formula and know you as an artist, you know, it's sometimes when I go in, I work with Keith, I don't have to tell Keith, like, hey, you should do this here. He just automatically know. You know what I mean? And it's not no spite against nobody else. It's just like, as an artist, I've been working with this person so long, we've been loyal to each other for so long that he knows my ins and outs. And plus, he does rock himself. So when I switch over to rock, I don't have to tell him that. He's giving me advice on, you know what I mean? Hey, this is what will probably go here, you know what I mean? So it's like,
he's great at what he does, and that's a great combination with you and bringing that rock aspect out of you. And you know.
I have people constantly asking me, who mixes your stuff? Who does your stuff? Who does your stuff? And I always send them your way, too. Always.
I appreciate that very much. And so, you know, one of the videos you did, you know, you had Nothing. Right?
Oh yeah.
You had two drummers on it. You know, really brought out the rock elements of that. You know, was that your first like real rock video?
That was the first. Yeah, that was the first real. That was the first real rock. And you know what's crazy? Every show I've went to since that, they asked me to do that song. When I had a feature in the song, so I really don't do the song a whole lot, but I love that song.
It's just hard about doing features
I love the vibe of the video. Shout out Nick, Kid Cassie. He did his thing on that video, and it was just like, it was a nice mix, you know what I mean? It was a nice mix. And if you notice, up to him, I had done no features because I quit doing features because I would book studio time and nobody would show up. So I told myself, you know what? I'm not gonna do no more features. Somebody gotta pay me. They gotta put money in or put effort in just the way I'm putting it in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when Nick came to the table, he came with money to the table. So it was like, this dude is serious because he bringing this much money for me to be on a feature with him.
Yeah.
To be on a song with him. So, and at the end of it, he did so good, I didn't even take his money. I said, take that money, we'll put it towards the video. That way I didn't take the money because I just wanted to make sure he was serious.
Right.
I didn't want his money, you know what I mean? But he was so serious, and a lot of people ask, well, why'd you do a song with him? You don't do songs with him? Because he was serious.
Right.
You know what I mean? He showed that he had a drive, and he's very gifted, you know what I mean? He has struggles, but he gifted.
So, I mean, you know, I tell people it's great doing the features, but you got to make sure the person that you're doing a feature with is on the same, level of you and dedication. Because I see this all the time. We do so many, songs, and then we got to do show mixes, and it's like we got to cut this person off because they can't make it to the show,
right,
and
it's the worst, man.
It's hard to rely on people, and
it's the
have
worst
people that are bringing as much to the table as you when you're really dedicated to your music, and it hurts people a lot of times.
Yeah, and me and Nick actually got another video we waiting to shoot. I'm waiting on him to get back with me on that, but that song is really good too. I don't know, we got a good thing we do together when we do features together. So this time I'm featuring on one. This time he featured on my song on Nothing, but on this other one, I'm featuring on his song. And that's what we kind of did, trade feature for feature. And that other song is really good. I'm waiting for him to put that one out, but And the thing about it is, like you said, that's the worst. It's nothing worse than people wasting your time when you got passion for something.
Right.
I mean, I didn't waste time when I was locked up, so what I look like wasting time in the free world?
Yeah.
Like, it don't make, you know what I mean? So that's one of the worst things to me is wasting time.
And you can't get time back.
Yeah, no, you can't.
You
can't.
Time is one of the most valuable things in the world, for real.
Yeah.
So, what do you have upcoming? What should people be looking for, expecting?
Well, I'm about to officially drop the Rap Rock album, which it's all songs with it's weird because I was working on 2 albums at one time. I was working on a straight hip hop album, then I was working on my Rap Rockology album. So going back and forth was like, geez. But I got both of them albums coming out. I got 2 videos coming up here shortly, soon. I don't know exact dates of them, but those are something to look forward to. And of course, I've been made a conscious effort to do more shows this time because I actually had steps I've been taking, and my first step was to get a nice catalog going. Which I've been doing, constantly dropping and constantly steady with it, you know what I mean? So I got my catalog built up. Now I've been working on doing performances and stuff and reviews. I'm pretty much out of my review stage. I'm not really sending nothing else for reviews because that gets kind of wild. I feel like a lot of that is,
Yeah.
But yeah, just more upcoming shows. You'll see it advertised on my page, on my different platforms and stuff like that. So that's what I'm focused on right now. And pretty soon here, I plan on going on the tour, but I'm trying to just line all my ducks up first before I do that,
So do you have an official release date for any of the projects?
You know what? I do, but I can't remember it off the top of my head. I do have an official release date, especially for Rock Rapology.
All right, cool.
So, but I'm sure if anybody that follow me, one thing I really appreciate is all the different platforms. And when I first came home, people was telling me, oh, don't get on TikTok. That's kind of like for kids and stuff like that. But of course, me being me, I got to try it for myself. So I started doing TikTok and my stuff just blew up
Right.
like crazy, and all the people from TikTok go to all the other platforms. So it's like they're the ones who be running my numbers up now, and it's like, you know what I mean? So it's like everything kind of worked together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't be scared to use all the platforms you got on pushing your music and stuff.
Social media now is like, it's so worldwide that you can touch anybody in the world. You know, you can have fan bases in countries that don't even speak English.
Right.
You know, I mean, for real, like it's you know, it's a beautiful thing, and you know, it's just taking advantage of it and really you know, putting the effort into it and getting it out there. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely appreciate y'all having me on, man.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you coming today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great interview. Do you want to give them your social media? You know,
oh yeah,
let them know where to find you.
Any platform. You can look up my music on any platform. Apple Music, Spotify, all that. I'm streaming on everything. Just look up Nutso The Beast. You can look up 22, run up them numbers a little more.
Yes, sir.
Just keep looking out for new music because I'm constantly dropping. But you can find me anywhere. Just look up Nutso The Beast. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. This is B.A.R.S. at Nexus Sound Studio, and that's a wrap.